Hello there and welcome to the Glow Up Method. This is the place, the space for you to discover who you are, to lean in to all of your imperfections and realize it is all about progress and not perfection in this pursuit, in this endeavor of choosing to live a life that makes you proud. Hello there. My name is Natasha. I get to be your host today, and I will be the one who is sharing all these lovely stories that hopefully inspire, ignite, empower, teach you that it doesn't matter what odds are stacked against you, that you can and you will persevere if you set your mind to it. And you show up for yourself daily, even when you don't want to, especially when you don't want to. Hello there. For those of you who have been following along, I am doing like another session here up in my room. I'm still sleeping in a recliner. For me, I was a spoiled little brat, and I was like, again, I didn't do a whole lot of research. And then suddenly I panic researched the night before, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I was trying to think I can't lay flat. What am I going to do? And so originally I was looking into these wedges for the bed, and then a light bulb moment went on, and I was had read, somebody said something about a recliner, and I was like, okay, Chris has a recliner, but this light bulb went off, and I was like, what if I got myself a massaging chair to because I love a massage. There's something just so peaceful and nurturing and stress relieving for me about receiving a massage. And so while a massage chair is much different than an actual massage, it's the next best thing. So, I have a lot of these apparatuses that will massage your feet or your neck or your shoulders or your lower lumbar, whatever. Let me tell you, it was such a good investment. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with the one in which I bought. It's very narrow. I have now still just one drain. There's compression on the side. If I hit the button once, if I forget to hit it in sleep timer, we are at odds sometimes. But I'm so grateful that I have it. I sleep in a zero gravity position. I'm not a back sleeper, and so for some, I'm getting better at it, but I still wake up and my mouth is so stinking dry because I just must be just gasping or something. But it is so dry. And so I'm really proud of myself. Yesterday I was able to get a little bit over 8,000 steps in my day, which is progress, right? So like I said, when Chris wasn't here, I really needed to conserve. It was we are going to use steps and movement as a survival mechanism. It's not about thriving right now. It's about surviving and doing the things that I have to do on my own, showering, cleaning drains, all those things. And that's what we're going to conserve the energy for. Now that he's back here and in the picture, I'm able to say, okay, well, I can push the boundaries a little bit more in these other areas where I can thrive and feel alive. Since he's here to help me survive. I know I've got this person to be if I'm I can't shower myself today, he's in, he is down. No matter what the state of the body is, he's down to be in the shower with me. You don't have to ask that guy twice for that. Something I never, felt comfortable enough doing, having this hanging skin on me. So I'm really excited. I'm getting to the point where I'm still extremely swollen, but I am learning to love this, lower belly region of myself. I, am giving it massages and looking at it with adoration versus disgust and disappointment. Yeah, of course I had the expectation that I wasn't going to come out as flat as this wall. But when I saw people on these Facebook forums and they did, I was like, wait, what the hell? Did I get the right thing? What's going on here? And it's how quickly I forgot that my skin was hanging and sitting on my lap at this point. It was just it was oh, okay, on to the next thing. Well, this isn't perfect. And granted, I've had a very difficult recovery, but it's getting much easier. I got back in my sun today. So B, I'm not at the gym, but I am getting these other forms of healing. Or like I say, I like to do my kind of earthing, grounding, where I go out in the sun, I put my feet in the grass. I sit there listening to the birds and the wind and the trees and it's just a lovely experience. I see people walking by. I see babies and kids with their families and elderly with their dogs and just people by themselves. Like, it's just a beautiful experience when I'm kind of a little bit on the isolated side at this moment, besides the people within this house. And it's like, they're probably like, listen, I've heard all your stories. I don't want to hear them anymore. You know, so it's beautiful when I see my neighbors and getting to chat with them, and, you know, people curiously see me like, what happened? You know, like, I always see you running around and now you're in a wheelchair. What's going on here? But I like to be safe when I'm outside by myself. And I know that if I'm in the wheelchair, I can get myself back in the house and, you know, I can do the, you know, things I want. So Chris was also so generous today. Took me on my little wheelchair walk where it's like I walk some and he wheels some. And when I went to the post-op appointment on Tuesday, she did say I can start incorporating some inclines. So we have some hills here. And let me tell you, flashback city. When I tell you I was huffing and puffing up that first like thing, it was like I was back at 300 pounds again. And the beauty of it is, I knew it was a struggle, but I knew I could get through it. Whereas when I did it when I was 300 pounds, I didn't know if I could get through it. So what the resilience helps build you is this confidence, this assurance that I can get through it. So then I got up to the first block and I said, I need to sit down. I sat down, we went another block and I said, I'm going to get back up. And he's like, you sure? I can just wheel you. And, you know, like, he's like, you were feeling kind of dizzy this morning and things like that. Just enjoy it. I said, no, you know, like, my whole goal is to be 1% better than I was yesterday. And yeah, and if I can't do it, like in the morning, I couldn't have. I was feeling dizzy and feeling like woo, woo, woo in my head. My son came downstairs while I was in the bathroom, but, you know, he was in the vicinity because I was like, I'm not sure, you know, I just have like a paranoia now, like, will I faint, will I pass out? And, so he was downstairs for that, you know, thankfully nothing happened. So that was like but it was just gave me that sense of security to know somebody was there. And it was great because I would, you know, walk some and then challenge myself. Okay, I started to feel tired. I'm like, I can make it this 2 more houses or 2 more trees, you know, just to push myself just a tad bit further. And, you know, Chris is like, you don't have to always push yourself. I could see you're trying. You know, there's like one big hill. I usually just cook right up that hill now. But now it was like slow and steady. And then I got in the wheelchair for a lot of the downhill. But yeah, so it's beautiful to have this progress, and it's beautiful to go through any tests in life, because once you pass this test, like for me, when I was obese and 300 pounds, once I did that, no one can take that away. I know now, it's embedded in me that I can overcome that. So I can overcome this. And yes, it is humbling to go back to the beginning. And it's also a gift because, like I said, I had injuries. And so if I can go back to the beginning and do it better, isn't that great? I mean, it's kind of like with my relationship with Chris. It's like we've gone back to the beginning with the goal of doing it better. And isn't that great? Like, isn't that the improvement? Isn't that the growth that we're seeking in life? It's this continual learning process and adaptation. And it's not that I have to learn the same lessons again. I already learned that lesson. I already learned I can do it. I also learned it's going to take time. And I also learned that I have to give myself grace and not be mad that I can't get up the hill like I could 4 weeks ago. I'm just like, dang, I got up the hill. This was my first time doing hills in over 4 weeks. And I did it. And I didn't do just one, and I didn't do just 2. I did multiple hills, and I did some downhills, and I did some straightaways. Like, I really listened to my body and said, what can I do? And when I got right to that limit of where I said this was enough, I said, let's just take one more step. And then we can sit down. And what it was, I realized was, sometimes I said this threshold, like there's this little bridge that goes over a creek. And I was like, when I get to the bridge, I'm going to sit in the wheelchair. And I always know in the back of my mind, if halfway to the bridge, I'm like, I can't, I won't. I will sit down. I will be safe. But I got to the bridge, and next thing you know, I was like over the bridge. And then the next thing you knew, I was up another 20, 50 feet, and it was fine. And it was like the next thing you knew, I was over another 20, 50 feet. And then I said, okay, that was enough. That was good. You know, and I was like, Chris, are you proud of me? Like, I'm proud of me. He's like, yes, you always are stubborn and you do things, you know, you're harder on yourself, but I am proud of you. And, I really am working to be stronger, to maintain that level of muscle and strength and courage to do it. It's easy to be afraid. Like for me right now, I have multiple things that give me PTSD. Like my leg had started to bleed the day the drain came out, and feeling that warm blood going down my leg was reminiscent of the last time that had happened to me. And then I went unconscious and went to the beautiful meadow, so there's a lot of things in this journey that by being quiet and not constantly on the go and leaving was very similar to almost like the COVID experience for me, because, during the pandemic, that's when I began to take care of myself because things got quiet. It wasn't just being in the same routine and the same, thing, which is great and it's fine, but it was that break in your routine. It was that disruption. And for me, that allowed me to see and experience life differently instead of just being on this treadmill and this rat race, which I often get on because I'm comfortable. I love my instructor. I love the people in the class. I get messages every day from them. How we doing? How you doing? Tomorrow I'm going to lunch with one of my girlfriends. Like, it's a beautiful community that I am so blessed and honored to be a part of. But it's very easy to get comfortable in that community. It's very easy to miss out. Today again, I put on my Fergie was my main one, but then it went to like a whole shuffled, all these like good songs, 2000s, from the 2000s that just got me moving, got the blood moving, got my heart moving, got me like doing my little walkie dancey dance. And you can't take that dancing diva out of me, even if I'm like, hey, this is it. Like in my mind, I'm big and back in my class with the ginormous moves, and at the end of it, I'm still standing there smiling and I'm having a good time. And I have now put the mirror downstairs because I needed to be able to apply the creams, and it's a full length mirror, and I'm looking at myself. And again, I'm saying, I'm proud of you. I love you. Like, you're strong. You are also fragile. And I love all the parts of you. Like, it's getting me comfortable seeing myself again. I'm really working through this body dysmorphia, like the way I see myself and seeing the swelling and all those things. It's a challenge, like I said on here, it's really hard for me to see myself in a mirror. And so I'm really hoping that I will feel very proud, no matter what the outcome is, of how I look when I flip on my favorite outfit to go to, my leggings. I missed them. I put them on 2 times, but it irritated the hell out of my drains. So I have been legging free, which has been exhilarating. I've been walking around in my makeshift bikini, like 60s, 70s bikini. I think it's 60s, like pinup girl bikini. Between the binder and my underpants and the tank top that's underneath, like it goes up to here, like you can see it's like right here, but like, so I am rocking this, and it's great weather to do so. It's not cold nor is it hot, so it's just great weather. Everybody's used to it. I almost actually left the house the other day. I did leave my house the other day with 2 different shoes on. Like, it's a mess, but on the same turn, it is what it is. I'm like, whatever. But I am so grateful to be here. And what I really want to nail in today is resilience. Things are hard. Like, things happen and you don't know what to expect. This happened to me by choice, which is not lost on me. I get it. I am not a victim in this situation whatsoever. What happened to me was unexpected. I mean, my doctors had it happen once in a 20+ year career. What's happened to me is what happened to me. It wasn't meant to happen any other way. I can't be upset about it. I mean, I can, obviously, but like, I can't dwell on it. And I won't dwell on it. I'm choosing not to dwell on it, but I really want to learn from that experience. Like I say, I love to share it because it was beautiful. And if somebody has a fear themselves of, the afterlife or where you go, or if it hurts, there was no pain. There was no pain at all. It was beautiful. Actually, I was none the wiser of what was happening in this current reality. I had no idea. It was sunshine and wildflowers and a meadow and children's laughter. How beautiful is that? Like, it was lovely. It was glitter shimmering. So really indulge again yourself into the things that scare you a little bit and build that resilience. It doesn't have to be huge. And I beg you, please don't make it big. If I would say on my first day back, I'm getting up to 10,000 steps, I would feel terrible that I couldn't even walk 1,000. And I have to meet myself where I am each day. I have, my trackers, which I usually don't pay much attention to. My biggest thing is to say, did I hit my thing? I'm watching things a little bit more cautiously now because I'm watching my heart rate. I'm watching my resting heart rate. I want to make sure that my body is strong enough to withstand what I'm going to tax it with. And taxing it some days, maybe just getting up and going to the shower. Taxing it, maybe getting up and going to the bathroom. Or taxing it, maybe a day like today where I have the support and security of knowing someone's there, there's a wheelchair, and I'm going to try this hill. And if I can't, there's the wheelchair, and we'll try again tomorrow. And that's okay. And if I can't do it then, I'm going to try again the next day. There is no timeline. There's no, I need to get to the top of the hill without the wheelchair by tomorrow. No. And that's the same thing that went with the weight loss journey. It's not about the timeline. And I know I am not a patient person. I want it and I want it now, Daddy. I want it and I want it now. I don't have the patience. If you're driving 50 in the freaking fast lane, you are on my nerves. Because I feel it's inconsiderate. There is a slow lane. There is a second to slow lane. There is a third slow lane. And you are in the fast lane, the designated fast lane, or sometimes people are paying money to go into this express lane, and you're going 50 miles an hour. It's inconsiderate. There's just, listen, I'm not going to get on it. Patience is power, I suppose. Maybe they're saving me from something else. But what I say is, the journey is not going to be overnight. No matter what you do, even if you have the courage to go through and do a bariatric surgery or do the medication route or do a specialty diet route, it's not immediate. And yes, some of the solutions, some of the pathways there may get you there faster than others. And there's no right or wrong answer. For me, there was the answer that was right for me. And thank God for me. For the most part, it worked. For the most part, I succeeded. My body couldn't snap back the skin. And like I said, I took the calculated risk. It wasn't about the physical. So it was like for me to take pictures and look at the physical. Listen, I closed my eyes. I didn't want to see. I didn't want to see what I did to myself because I didn't change. Just like if you inherit a bunch of money or you win the lottery, you don't change. You are still who you are. It's just magnified. So no matter what augmentation I do to my body, if I so ever choose, which at this point, hell to the nana, but if I ever decided to get these girls stop pointing down with the headlights down to the ground and I want them augmented and I decide to put them up and I decide to get rid of the skin, or if I decide to get rid of this or whatever it is, if I decide to do that, which right now I gotta say is a hell to the nana, because all this loose skin, it's the same issue as down here, but if I had to pick two, I would pick this one because I could shove this stuff into the bras and whatever. But I say all that to say is we need to learn to love who we are. And yes, I could not do anything better. I took a calculated risk. I waited years. I fluctuated. I probably fluctuate, between 5 and 20 pounds, depending on what I'm eating, my activity level, my injury level. And really just the biggest factor in it for me was twofold. On a physical level, it was this hope, this theory that this extra skin, I would pick it up. If I would pick it up and hold it, just like if your boobs are hanging, right? If you're endowed like me and, they're hanging, it's kind of heavy and it pulls, right? It pulls on your back, it pulls on the things. That's what was going on down here all the time. There was no, maybe there was girdles or shapewear. I just wasn't into any of that stuff. And maybe that would have helped hold it up so I wasn't having to put all that extra pressure onto my back. But the biggest thing that I decided to do this for, it was an internal mission. It was a mission to say, I do not have to be punished for the choices I made before. I can live and learn. I have this power and this strength to change my life. And those lessons I've learned from the previous decisions of me will always be with me. Like, I've learned the lesson that I don't want to be obese anymore. And so I'm going to walk. I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want. And right now it's any time of the day, but I'm going to get back to my intermittent fasting. I'm going to eat what the hell I want to eat because I like to eat and I want to enjoy my life. And I'm going to move my body as best as I can move my body that particular day. And so my thing to you is this: start today. And if you already started yesterday, bravo. If you started 2 years ago, bravo. Keep it up. Challenge yourself. Sometimes you need a disruption. What can you do to disrupt your life? Can you go on a vacation? Can you skip your normal routine and see this whole other world that kind of opens up to you? Like I said, one of my favorite parts of my day now is sitting out in the sun and just doing nothing. Not being on my phone, not doing a dang thing, just being in the sun and enjoying that moment. So what can you do to make some alterations so that you are more aligned with who you are? And you can see that you will miss those other things you were doing, but then you also appreciate these new things that have suddenly, you have this new time to do. So I say all of that to say, my little resilient friends here, it is time for me to bid you adieu. And of course, I'm going to ask you to do me one, maybe two little favors. So please, 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 please go out there today, give yourself a big smile and give yourself a compliment. So today, my compliment is this. I am going to say, I'm so proud of you, Natasha, for realizing this morning that you needed help and that you felt dizzy and you didn't just push through it. You knew that that was a time to sit down, to rest, to relax longer. Then I appreciate that you, when needed help, when you like had to get up and go to the bathroom or you were going to have a problem in your bed, that you needed help, and just recruiting and having somebody there gave you the security to know you were not alone and that you could get through that obstacle and do it safely and successfully. So I'm going to say that to myself. So bravo to me and bravo to you for whatever you're giving yourself a smile and compliment for. And I would love, 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 love if you can please go out there today, give somebody else a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. So thank you. Bye.